Hi, this is my analysis for the week commencing the 11th of September 2023. Now, my name is Ian Foster and I am from beawinningtrader.com. So www.beawinningtrader.com. I'm going to start off with the pound Japanese yen. And the reason I'm doing that is because this is the market that I am very much concentrating on my Discord channel. It's the market from which we've had over 400 pips locked in the month of August. And for the first week in September, we're roughly plus 90 pips. Now, these are weekly charts and the weekly bars. Each bar represents 1 week here. And I am looking at the most recent bar, which is this last bar here. Now you can see we've had a very bearish weekly bar previously. In fact, this is what we call an outside vertical weekly bar to the downside. And the downside means that the close is closer to the low than it is to the high. Therefore, giving us a probability that that low will be broken before that high. We traded last week, the week before last, inside that. And then last week, we just have come down and we've broken that low, which was 183.35. And we went to 183, I think, 06. So we're 05.9, same difference. The most important aspect for this for me is not where the close is in relation to the open, but where the close is in relation to the low of the bar. And that is indicating that because this bar closed closer to the low than it did to the high, there's more selling pressure overall within this bar, again indicating that there should be a break of this low before a break of this high. That is what that is indicating. Now, if we go to the daily bar, we're getting a slight contradiction, I should say, simply because we've got a bullish bar on Friday where you can see the close is closer to the high. So what I can initially see happening within the pound yen is I think we're going to get initial strength. And then depending on how strong that is, we know that it's got a big hurdle up here at these highs, and that there's a high of 185.77. It needs to break that if it's going to go further up. Or again, if we are long, we need to keep an eye on that 185.77 or just below the area, because we know based on probabilities, it should take that low out and not that high. Now, if we go to a 1 hour chart, and again, I will just change from black bars back into my more standard bars, and this is using my proprietary software trading tool. We have got what we call green price bars. We went out of the red price mode, we're into green price mode. What we're looking now for is getting a higher confirmed low with a blue price bar if we are going to buy this market on an intraday or an intra-week basis. If we do not get that, then we will be looking to short this market. But again, based on the daily chart that closed on Friday, there appears to be initial strength in this market for the beginning of the trading week. Now, let us start and look at the euro dollar. And again, the same thing on a weekly chart. Now, this market is certainly more bearish and has been for this last few weeks. As you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This last 7 or 8 weeks, this market's been heading down. But the key area in this market, just as where I have marked the horizontal line, and that is those lows at 106.35, 1.0635. The market is closed at 1.07 dead, 00. And this is the previous higher confirmed price action low, which would indicate that the trend is still intact. This upward trend is still intact, providing that low of 1.06, I should say, 35 is not broken to the downside. So this is a key area here. Again, it tried to rally on Friday. Friday wasn't the best, wasn't the most straightforward trading day, so much so that I didn't even post a trade on my pound yen. Or anything else. But we tried to rally on Friday when it took the high out of Thursday, when it should have broken the low technically based on probabilities, and it didn't. But look where it closed. It closed very close to the low than it did to the high, and that would indicate to me that this market has got certainly further room to go, and we'll be keeping a close eye down here at this 106.35 level. If I go into the pound dollar, in other words, known as cable, a very similar price pattern to that of the euro dollar. And regularly they do trade in tandem. But I just want to draw on these lows here. That is a significant low in the pound dollar. in relation to the weekly trend, and that low is at 123.08. Now we're at 124.61, and again, what we happened if we take a look at Friday's price action, and again it tried to rally. It very much mimicked that of the euro dollar, and it's come down and it's closed bearish. Now there's more room to the downside on this. As far as the daily price action perspective is, we've actually changed trend in this market, and we've had a confirmed trend change because number one, we've broken that low, firstly, but number two, we've actually come up with a confirmed lower high, excuse me, a lower high here. So this very much looks like heading south. Again, it's in a matter of getting into your smaller time frame charts and looking for lower highs for me. So in other words, if there's any rally ensued on either the euro dollar or the pound dollar, I would be using those initially for the beginning of this coming trading week as opportunities from which to look for selling signals. And selling signals are those that have got higher lows. In other words, such as this here, market falls, it bounces, providing that low is a higher low than any low up here, then we take the signal. Now again, using my price action methodology, we've got rules that determine when we're in a confirmed higher low or a lower high. Okay, so if we go on now to look at, we'll not spend any more time on the Forex markets. We will now look at the equity markets. We can start off with the FTSE 100. And the FTSE 100 market, if I could just bring it up here along the bottom, where is my FTSE 100 gone? FTSE 100, there we go. And this market actually led the most recent US equity market rally, okay, because it was showing the greatest strength when there was weakness across in the US. But it is now the market that is, it's still showing strength. It showed a little bit of weakness midweek in the past week that's just closed. But there's one key area I want to just highlight for all of you FTSE traders, and that is a high there on that very bearish weekly bar of 75.49, this high here. And for this past 1, 2, 3 weeks, we've been trading inside that very bearish weekly bar. So again, based on probabilities, we should have taken 72.09 out to the downside before we break this 75.44. Intra-week, there was certainly weakness in the FTSE, indicating that was maybe perhaps starting. But fair play, it's turned around and it has indicated strength. And just as you can see here on the daily bars, each bar here represents daily. We've got 1, 2, 3 bullish bars, indicating that this market should now start heading north. But because this 75.49 has been a great resistance area, that will be a big area for the FTSE to pass in the upside. So it will. Now, if it does do that, then that will be like flipping a coin on its head, because this is indicating bearishness. If it breaks up through something where the probabilities are that it shouldn't do before the lows are broken, and it does that, then that would be indicating a complete turnaround, like as I say, flipping the coin and going bullish. If we look at the S&P 500, it has something similar, only it did break the bearish weekly bar just this past week. There's the exact same bearish bar that was shown in the FTSE. The week before last, it traded inside. And then that was last week. This past week, just in 2 weeks past, I should add, we had a bullish bar where it broke that high, and it's now retraced within that bullish weekly bar range. So, we're getting conflicting signals, which is not that very nice when we're getting the major indices, one indicating maybe a strength, other indicating a little bit of bearishness, etc., etc. And I'll just add the Dow onto this in 2 seconds. So that would still be indicating me, based on this weekly bar, that there's a greater probability for that high to be broken before that low. So there's the two key areas in S&P. That's 44.06, and the high is 45.40. Right, presently trading at 44.59 or closing at 44.59. Now again, if we look at the daily chart, You can see here that we had a bullish bar on Thursday. We had a continuation of that bullish bar on Friday. And this would indicate that I think there's going to be further strength on the S&P 500, at least in the early part of this week. And if I just further go out to the weekly chart, we've got a bullish monthly, or the monthly bars, I meant, monthly chart. We've got a monthly bullish bar here. We've traded so far this month of September, we've traded inside the month of August. Well, again, based on price action probabilities, we should break that high to the upside. And then what do you see, everybody? We see the all-time highs up here. And I think that the magnet is drawing this market, this monthly strong market, magnet rather, is drawing this market up towards those highs at 45.18. So I'm bullish the S&P 500. If the FTSE crosses that 75.49, I'm bullish the FTSE. Now let's take a look at the Dow. So if we go to the Dow Jones, the Dow Jones has given us conflicting signals because we had a bullish weekly bar that closed last week. And then this week we have come down and we've taken that low out. So you can see what's happening here. You've got the S&P 500 showing bullishness. Yes, inter-week weakness, but overall bullishness. And now you've got the Dow, where we had a bullish weekly bar indicating strength, and all of a sudden it goes and does the complete opposite than what it technically should have done based on probabilities. Then it went towards the end of the week and went into an intra-week rally, and we can reflect that on the daily chart here, where you can see that we're trading now 2 days inside this bearish daily bar of last Wednesday. So the key level for the Dow to break is a high of 34,668. Is the Dow cash market 34,668? That is the key level, just about 100 points away from where we presently are on Friday's close. And if it does that, then we will be looking perhaps for it to take that high out there, which is at 34,935. So there's the key areas, because we've got a bullishness on a daily intraday chart. We've got a couple of hurdles if the bullishness is going to continue. And what I will say at this juncture, because we are getting a bullishness in one index and a bearishness in another, such as the Dow here, eventually they will get in tandem. But what we have to do as traders is trade not them all, trade an index based on what we see. Yes, look around, such as we're doing at the minute, to look for guidance. But if you're trading the Dow, you're trading the Dow with the probabilities of this market breaking the lows last week's lows this coming week, and perhaps again having intraday bullishness, but being aware that the only time that bullishness actually turns into bearishness if it cannot break this high at 34,668. So remember, if it starts doing that and the S&P showing the strength that it has shown, then there's quite a high probability this market's going to maybe move up and not just a shallow move. I would say it could be quite a significant move up, to be quite honest. So that is my analysis for the week on the major indices. We can look at the DAX. The DAX, you can see here, we've got a bearish, similar to the Dow Jones, in fact, where we had a bullish weekly bar last week or the week before, and last week we came down, we broke the low, and then we went into a rally. And you can see that on Friday's bullish bar. So again, I would have to say that I'm expecting the DAX to actually head north for the early part of the week, but I would be very much aware, depending on the strength of the market, I will know that it has to break the high, which is 15,962.60. So 15,962.60 if we are going along the DAX. So the analysis basically is there's a conflict on some of the major indices, such as the Dow and the DAX. There's a bullishness in the Nasdaq, actually, and there's some bullishness certainly on the S&P 500. And what will help me from my mindset in relation to index trading, as far as the FTSE is concerned, is that 75.49 level. My main Forex market to conclude is the pound yen. And again, I'm expecting certainly initial buying pressure to start the week, but I will be very much aware of that bearish weekly bar high up there at 180. What do we say? 187. The weekly bar high, and just my memory, was 185.77. So again, initial strength, and then perhaps a hurdled across here if it's still showing strength up around those levels. So I hope you enjoyed this analysis. I hope it all makes sense to you. Remember, if it doesn't and you have any questions to ask me, go to ian@beawinningtrader.com, or again, if you're not already a member of my Discord channel, join my Discord channel, Be a Winning Trader, and you will get a lot of this here, and you'll also get signals when you become a premium member. Okay, very selective, dare I say, but consistently accurate trading signals. So thank you.